Hey, what's up? Hey, can we talk real quick about the problem with LEGO Batman right now?
Sounds familiar? A full year ago I released a video passionately discussing my hopes that someday we may get a LEGO Batman with a screen-accurate cowl piece. Maybe you saw this video, maybe you didn't. The gist of it is that I've always been disappointed in how LEGO Batman has never had eyes through his mask in the live-action actors. The traditional headpiece includes a white strip over his head which would act as his eyes through the mask. A beautiful comic style that really pops on the LEGO minifigures, so much so that LEGO has never changed this. The cowl has changed a handful of different times. We've had different iterations of Batman released with new faces, new torsos. Everything has changed except for the white stripe on his head. And I do really like this, but not on the live action actors. Not a damn chance. The best time for LEGO to change this was with last year's release of the Batman. It was a whole new rework of that character. I was very positive that they would do that, but they didn't. The second best time to do it is now. LEGO could change it this year with the release of the Flash movie and the newly announced celebratory Batman Returns Shadowbox set, a set that we will be getting into in a sec, but just bear with me. This is the perfect place to try again, but judging by the title of this video, you can clearly tell I am once again disappointed. New year, same disappointment. Here is the Batman Returns Batcave Shadowbox. This set is to release in June for a very pricey 660 NZD, so immediately it's out of my price range. It includes all the figures that you could possibly ask for a set based on Batman Returns, and it appears to be a pretty decent build with an interesting unique take on a new LEGO set. A giant brick built Shadowbox design with a detailed Batcave on the inside. I both like and dislike this set. Pretty standard feelings on these giant LEGO sets, honestly. The Batcave's design looks very in line with Batman. I do like all of these details and the overall look and style of this set. I like the new build type of the Shadowbox, which I think works pretty well for this license, but I would like to see this design translated over to the 60s show, because I think those colors would pop a bit more. That being said, I don't like the idea of possibly paying $700 every time they want to do a new Shadowbox design, but you know, I digress. This one feels quite nostalgic and celebratory for me, so I do appreciate its existence. Batman to me is Tim Burton's Batman, so this is like right up my alley. As I mentioned, the price, it's just too much for what I can afford right now. It isn't to say that I don't think it isn't worth that price exactly, just that I have other personal ideas for what I would spend 700 NZD on. Rivendell released earlier this year at only 100 or so more. It has far more pieces, far more minifigures, and I think I'm more of a Lord of the Rings person than a Batman person, I don't know. My biggest disappointment here is the head that's used on Keaton. No, not the head used for Bruce Wayne, I think that's actually pretty solid. Nice hairpiece as well. But the minifigure stripe head used on Keaton's Batman's just... Come on, I feel flat again. Why can't they make something work here? There are two Batman cowls here in this set, the one with the cape that's attached and the new one which features a white stripe that's molded into the cowl. This is something that commenters actually mentioned in my video, taking reference from that Captain Marvel mask, and wondering why LEGO don't do this themselves. A black stripe appearing where that white stripe would be, with some eyes printed on, just like how Robert Pattinson's Batman looks in his movie. That's exactly what I want to see attempted. I can't imagine what it would look like until I can see it. So maybe this is a step in the right direction. The cowl is really bulky, and I've seen a lot of negative comments made about it, but I do kind of like it. At the very least, this makes for a pretty good armored Batman looking cowl, or like an animated series one, but I just can't get over how disappointed I am that still in 2023, after two great ample opportunities to remedy this, we still get the stripe for the eyes. When Christian Bale was the first live-action Batman to receive a LEGO minifigure, I thought the white stripe was to avoid licensing fee. It's pretty generous to say that this Dark Knight LEGO set released in 2008 is 100% based on the Dark Knight movie. The set released in a wave of 4 total sets, all of which had this Dark Knight logo on it, and all of which were based on classic MISC ideas for the Batman theme, absolutely not attached to the Dark Knight film. Penguin's boat, Harley Quinn truck, Mr. Freeze quad, none of this is tied to the movie. The worst offender for me, the Joker and Batman figures were just repeats, re-released in other sets representing LEGO's personality of who Batman is, not the actors specifically. So Batman having the white stripe for his eyes, I could buy it for this release. But in 2013, we saw the release of a belated Dark Knight Rises set. There was absolutely no mistaking it this time. The set is outright based on the movie that released a year prior. Here we can see Bane in his recolored tumbler, Commissioner Gordon is here, so is Christian Bale Batman. An exclusive one-off figure as well based on the movie that only released in this set. What do they do for the head? Classic white stripe. It's the exact same head that was used in the recently revived 2012 line. So the headpiece that's used for essentially comic-based sets and LEGO's own personal creations is also used for the actor. Did you know that this head introduced in 2012 has actually been used on 17 unique Batman minifigures? Of those 17 unique Batman figures, we have Michael Keaton's first appearance as LEGO Batman, released in the Big Batmobile and the Batwing set. Robert Pattinson's one-off entry Batman, the inspiration for what made me so disappointed that I felt compelled to speak out about this 1 year ago. And 3 out of 4 of Christian Bale's Batman minifigures have this same head. Bale has one exclusive head made for him. It was released in the first UCS-style tumbler released in 2014. This still included a white stripe. Ben Affleck amazingly actually has a couple of different face prints. This was the first one, which I've labeled as his main one, because I think it appears in the most amount of Ben Affleck styled sets. 2 of them for Batman vs Superman, and then 2 of them that are those weird, strange Suicide Squad adjacent kind of sets. Problem is here though, the head wasn't even made for him. It was in sets earlier in the life cycle, like the Gorilla Grodd set from 2015, and then the head was reused in sets outside of Affleck, like the Ra's al Ghul set, so it's not even designed for him, just like the previous actor treatments. He did have a special glow-in-the-dark head that was released in this set for Batman vs Superman, but the skin tone doesn't match the other faces, so what's going on here? In 2017, he was in 2 of the 3 Justice League movie sets. Actually, both Batman figures do include a special head. His first head appears to have been made for him, but it was also released in comic sets later on, like the Brother Eye set, so, you know. His second head was only ever made for him, and it was never released again, so great, Affleck does have an exclusive one-off head, but it has the weird stripe. Adam West, very quick, has 2 figures, both of which had exclusive heads, both of which had a white stripe. So here I am again, more than 1 year later, complaining about the same thing that people did genuinely agree with me on, I might add. So I don't know, fingers crossed that maybe a random set in the future can fix this. I guess it's all I've got now. Subscribe if you are new, it helps to support the channel and it helps to support the possibility of us doing this full time. Take care.